story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
This is the city. Los Angeles, California. I work here. It was Monday, February 13th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Juvenile Division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. For over a month, we had been getting reports on a narcotics ring that had been supplying juveniles. So far, we'd been unable to get any leads to the identity of the key people in the operation. We were still looking.
You're in early this morning.
Yeah, I get in at 7:30.
How come?
Couldn't sleep.
Why?
Well, one of the kids is sick. We were up with him all night.
Anything serious?
No, just the rides yesterday.
What rides?
That place out in the valley where they have the merry-go-round, the Ferris wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Guess we got a little carried away, but we sure had fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Faye thought we could do all that on an empty stomach. So we had a little something to eat.
The food, that's what did it, I'll bet.
She quacked at me about it all night. According to her, you'd think I did it on purpose.
Yeah, son, something we can do for you?
I'd just like to talk to somebody.
Well, maybe we can help you.
Are you cops?
That's right. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday. What can we do for you?
Hi. It's kind of private. Could we...
Sure. We've got a room down the hall. Let's go down there.
Okay.
All right, son, sit down over here.
Okay.
All right, now let's get down to it. What's the trouble?
I want you to put me in jail.
We can't put you in jail without a reason, son.
Okay? I'll give you a reason.
Go ahead.
Because that's the only way I'll stop. I know it is. If you don't put me in a cell, I'll do it again.
What do you mean?
I'm hooked bad. I want to stop. I've got to stop.
What's your name?
John Colter.
How you spell your last name?
C-O-L-T-E-R.
How old are you, son?
17.
Where do you live?
That hasn't got anything to do with why I'm here.
We'll have to have it, son.
1896 West Camellia.
That's in L.A.?
Yeah.
How big a habit do you have, son?
4 a day.
How long you been hooked?
About a year.
Well, let us see your arms.
Sure.
It's a lot of marks, son.
Yeah? I guess so.
We better have a doctor take a look at them right away. Looks like you're starting up an infection there.
Okay, I don't care anymore.
How long since you've had a fix?
Last night.
How do you feel now?
Rough. Say, you mind closing those blinds? It's awful bright in here.
Do you live with your folks?
My mom.
What about your father, son?
He's dead. Been dead ever since I was a kid.
Does your mother know you're on the stuff?
No.
She'll have to find out.
And you're gonna tell her I'm not.
All right, son. We'll take care of it.
When'd you eat last?
Yesterday?
You hungry now?
No.
Want a cup of coffee? All right, how'd you get started on the stuff?
Oh, you've heard the same story before.
That's all right. We'll hear it again.
All right.
You sure we can't get you something?
There's only one thing that'd do me any good, and you wouldn't give it to me.
All right, John. Go ahead. Now, how'd you get started?
A couple of years ago, It was Halloween. Kids had a party.
Yeah.
Well, after we played games for a while, things got so dull a bunch of us decided to leave.
Where'd you go?
Just drove around for a while, trying to figure out something to do.
Whose car were you in?
One of the guys had a hot rod.
Ah.
Well, next thing I knew, we were parked off the road. One of the guys, a fellow I didn't know before, said he had some tea. Said we might as well have a blast party.
Was this boy at the party with you?
Yeah. He was there, but he wasn't with me.
He didn't go to your school?
Go ahead, son.
Well, we parked and he took out these weeds. Had them in a tin can.
Yeah.
There was 6 of us kids, but he only had 5 sticks. He said it didn't make any difference, though. Said we could share them.
Had any of the other boys smoked marijuana before?
I don't know. Hank said he had, but I think he was just trying to look good.
Uh-huh.
Well, we lit up and started in. First, it made me sick. Come right down to it, I didn't think the whole thing was such a good idea.
Why'd you do it?
All the other kids were. I had to, they just said it was chicken.
How long did you smoke marijuana?
You mean after that?
That's right.
We got together a couple of times a week.
And your mother didn't have any idea all this time what you were doing?
No,
Were you always with the same boys?
pretty much. One of them dropped out. His old man got wise about the parties and made him quit. Told him if he did it again, he was going to turn him over to the cops.
Yeah.
Most of the time, though, it was the same gang.
Who supplied you?
Guy who started us off.
The one at the Halloween party.
Yeah, he got them for us, and then we'd all chip in and pay for them.
What'd they cost you?
6 bits.
All right, suppose you tell us how you got started on the hard stuff.
After a while, there wasn't much kick in tea, you know?
Who set you up?
Guy I met.
It wasn't the same boy who sold you the marijuana, huh?
No. You see, once in a while, we'd go to a big blast party at somebody's house. There'd be other kids there, new ones. That's how I met Jerry.
What's his last name?
Jerry Roth.
How old is he?
19.
Is he hooked?
Yeah,
Was he when you met him?
I guess so.
How you spell his name?
R-O-A-T-H.
How'd he turn you on, son?
We were comparing notes about tea. How the kick wore off. Said there was something better. Give you a real jolt.
Did you know what he was talking about? Well, son.
I had a pretty good idea. Oh, I don't feel very good. It's starting to tear me apart.
You better have that coffee now, son.
I'll get it.
It's a good thing I'm here, or I'd start looking for a connection.
When'd you take your first shot of heroin?
The night I met this Jerry. We went outside to his car. He had a layout there, and he cooked up a fix. He took one, and then I tried it.
What happened?
My insides came out. I thought I was going to die. Looking back, might have been better off if I had.
How have you been paying for your habit?
There are only 2 ways. You steal, or you start pushing yourself.
Which way'd you go?
Both of them.
What'd you steal?
Anything I could sell.
Where'd you get rid of it?
Around the school. Couldn't go to a pawn shop. Kids don't care as long as they get a bargain. Sold my old man's watch for $3. 17 jewels, solid gold. $3.
What were you pushing?
T, H. I'd buy the H and then cut it myself. That way you get a couple extra caps. Took care of me for a while.
Uh-huh.
There ain't never enough, though. Got so's I was looking forward to the next fix.
When'd you start mainlining it?
I chippied with the stuff first for a couple of months.
How soon did you find out you were hooked?
About a year later.
Took a while, didn't it?
I thought I could beat it. Turn it off when I wanted to. At least that's what I kept telling myself. Guess I was hooked before I really knew it.
Here you are, son.
Thanks.
Come on, son, try to get it down. It'll make you feel better.
You got a doctor here?
There's one upstairs.
I better see him.
All right. Is your mother at home, son?
She works in an aircraft plant.
She there now?
What time is it? My watch is broken.
9:15.
She'll be there in about 10 minutes.
What's the phone number, son?
You gonna call her?
That's right.
She ain't gonna like it. Really blow her stack.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, will you?
What's that?
Tell her there's a cure. Tell her some guys get over it. She may not believe you, but tell her anyway.
All right, son, we will.
You see, she read a magazine article some time back. It was all about hypes.
Yeah.
Article said that only 2% of them ever kicked the habit for good.
You might have a piece of that percentage.
How do you figure?
Those who really want to kick it,
Yeah?
they're less than 2%.
8:57 a.m. The boy gave us the telephone number of the factory where his mother was employed, and we took him upstairs to the doctor on duty in the receiving hospital. A few minutes after 9, we put in a call to the aircraft plant. We talked to the personnel manager and then to Mrs. Colter. We asked her to come over to the office. It was 10:16 p.m. when she arrived. She introduced herself as Nora Colter and asked about her son.
Johnny's in trouble, isn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
What did he steal?
No, that's not why he's here, Miss Colter.
What did he do then? Well, if you won't tell me, I'll get it out of him. Where is he?
He's upstairs, ma'am.
Oh?
The doctors are checking him over.
He's been hurt, huh? An accident?
No, ma'am. The boy came in to see us of his own free will.
Oh, that doesn't sound like him. What do you want to see you about?
He's been using narcotics.
You mean dope?
That's right.
How'd you find out?
The boy told us.
Oh.
Did you know your son was a user, Mrs. Colter?
I'd be the last one to know. Mother always is.
You don't seem very surprised.
Nothing Johnny could do that would surprise me. He's gonna be all right, ain't he?
He's got a pretty serious needle infection in his arm.
He's young. He'll get over it.
You're sure you didn't know your son was using heroin?
If I'd known, don't you think I would have done something about it?
Well, according to what he told us, he's been hooked for over a year. Now, you must have noticed a change in him.
Hooked? What's that mean?
I'm sorry, it means he's been an addict.
Oh. You know something, Sergeant? I've been working for a long time, ever since Johnny's father died, even before then. When I get home at night, after standing on my feet all day, I've got more important things to do than worry about Johnny. He's a big boy. He can look out for himself.
He hasn't been doing a very good job of it.
Sure, lay it at my doorstep, as if I haven't got enough to worry about. Bills to go over, decide who's going to have to wait this month, clothes to wash and iron. The time I get things done that have to be taken care of, I'm lucky if I got enough strength to crawl into bed. May not sound like a very good mother, but I haven't had the time or the energy to do much mothering.
Yes, ma'am, we understand.
By the time I get back to work, the whole place will be talking about it, looking at me, asking what happened. Whole plant. Maybe I won't even go back. If I don't, it'll be his fault.
I hope you know it took a lot of courage to do what your son did.
What's so special about him? He's just like all the rest of them.
No, ma'am, he wants to be cured.
There's a lot of things he wants. Always has. When he was a kid, it was toys. When he was a little older, it was a bicycle. A couple years ago, it was a car. He's always wanted them, but he never got them. Besides, what's going to happen to him?
We're filing a petition. He'll have to make an appearance at juvenile court. They'll decide on the treatment.
Can I see him now?
I'll check on it.
Right. There's something you'd better know, Mrs. Colter.
Yeah?
Johnny's been off the stuff for 12 or 14 hours now. He isn't going to be feeling very well. Please try to take that into account.
He brought it on himself, didn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
It'd be different if he'd been hurt, an accident.
He's in as much pain as if he'd been in an accident, and there's going to be a lot more.
For both of us.
Afraid so. Try to remember, he's just a youngster.
I won't forget. He's mine. And as long as you're going into it, there's something else you ought to know.
Ma'am?
He's been stealing from me, from his own mother.
Yes, ma'am?
You already knew it?
Yes, ma'am. The boy told us.
Well, there you are. It's not bad enough. He's a dope fiend. He's a thief, too. After all I've done for him. Gave him a home, not real big or fancy, but it's clean. Got his own room. We eat good. He's never gone hungry. Lord knows I have, but he hasn't.
Oh, Mother.
How many times did I tell you you would end up like this in trouble with the police, but you wouldn't listen, would you, Mr. Smarty Pants? You know it all. Now just look at you.
I'm sorry, Ma.
A little late to be sorry, isn't it? How am I going to face the neighbors after this?
I'm sorry. I don't know.
I'll say you don't. And if I had you home, I'd teach you a lesson you'd never forget. And don't think you're too big for me to do it either.
Would you take me upstairs
Now,
again?
wait a minute, young man. I've got a few more things to say to you.
Look, Ma, I don't feel very good. I'd like to be by myself now. I'll talk to you a little later, huh?
You talk to me this minute, and don't give me any of your fancy excuses. You don't feel so good. You're going to feel a whole lot worse when I'm done with you.
Please, Mr. Smith, it's tough enough.
Now, wait a minute. You bring him back here. Bring him back. Well, how do you like that? Just turned his back and walked out on me. You saw it, Sergeant. You saw how he treated me.
Yes, ma'am.
No reason for anybody to act like that. No reason for any of it. Him taking dope and robbing me. I ask you, Sergeant, just give me one good reason.
Maybe you ought to ask yourself.
What do you mean?
He's your son. We talked to Mrs. Colter and managed to convince her that her son would get proper care. The boy was transferred to Ward 13400 General Hospital, and for the next 3 days went through the pains which always accompany narcotics withdrawal. He complained of violent headaches and stomach cramps. He was unable to keep any food down. His eyes watered constantly, and for 72 hours he was in a state of violent pain. On the 4th day, he began to recover. He was able to take some beef broth, and the symptoms were no longer evident. Saturday, February 18th, we talked to him at the hospital.
Guess I'm feeling a little better. Not good, but better.
Sure. You got the worst of it behind you now, son.
That's the best news I've heard for a week.
From here on in, you're going to get all the help we can give you.
Oh, you guys have done plenty for me already. A couple of times there. If it hadn't been for you to talk to, I don't know what I'd have done.
We understand.
You see my mother?
She called us yesterday.
Oh.
She talked to one of the doctors here at the hospital. She wants to see you.
Be the same all over again. Her griping how tired she is, how I'm a goofball.
Well, it hasn't been easy for her either, John.
Yeah, I guess not.
Why don't you give her a chance to get on your side, Johnny? She wants to.
Okay. Anybody wants to get on my side the way I feel, I wouldn't turn them down.
We're glad to hear that, son. Now, there are a couple of things we want to ask you.
Oh?
We want the names of the men who kept you supplied.
That's asking a lot.
We don't think so.
Look, you guys gave me a break. I hate to turn you down, but this is where I get off.
Sorry you feel that way, son.
How else do you expect me to feel? So I'm a bum. I'm not getting anybody else in trouble.
You told us about Jerry Roth, didn't you?
I wasn't thinking too good that day. I should have kept my mouth shut.
We've got a warrant out on Roth. It'll only be a matter of time before he's picked up.
Well, then let him tell you.
Do you think you've got it a little wrong here?
Where?
Well, what'd these people ever do for you?
They're friends.
Check the books. Go over what they've done for you against what you've done for them.
What do you mean?
Well, you're a big boy. Figure it out for yourself. There are thousands of narcotics users right here in Los Angeles, and a lot of them are kids.
I ain't impressed by statistics.
You do a little thinking back, son. The day you walked into the office and said you were in trouble, you weren't a statistic. You needed help, and you asked for it, and we did all we could. And nobody asked whether you could afford it or not. Nobody cared. Now, if these people who sold you this stuff are such good friends, why didn't you go to them?
I don't know.
I'll tell you why. Because you were scared. You know what they do if you walked up to them with empty pockets. Sure, they're your buddies as long as you can pay for it. As soon as you're broke, they never met you. Everybody knows loyalty's a good thing, but you turn it around. You've stolen things to support your habit. How loyal have your friends been when you haven't had the price of a cap? Any of them been around to see you? Any of them been willing to hold your head while your insides fell out? Now, we ask you for some names, but we don't have to get them from you. We'll pick them up, all of them, from the mule who sold you that first cap to the guy who's been bringing the stuff into the country. We just figured you'd like the chance to help out the other kids like you. And I guess we had it wrong, didn't we? Tell you what you do. You put in a call to one of your high-powered friends, and you see how fast they come through for you now. You don't need us anymore, and we don't need you, boy. We never did.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'll give you the names.
Johnny Colter gave us as much information as he could on the operation of the narcotics ring. He supplied us with names, dates, times, and places, but his information did not reach to the top of the organization. 3:31 p.m. Frank and I went back to the office. We talked to Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli and his partner from Narcotics Division. We filled them in on what had happened and gave them a list of names supplied by the Colter boy. A roundup of pushers was begun immediately. During the next 24 hours, 12 men and 3 women were taken into custody. Each one of them was interrogated, but either they didn't know the name of the key man in the operation or they refused to tell us. They were all booked on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. Wednesday, February 22nd, 1:16 p.m. We received word that Jerry Roth had been arrested. Frank and I went over to the police building and talked to him.
Come on, quit wasting my time. What do you want from me?
Just one thing, Roth.
Yeah?
The name of the wheel.
I can't even hear you, cop.
All right, roll up your sleeves.
What for?
Roll them up. All right, now the other one.
They're both the same.
Roll it up, will you? Figures?
What does that prove?
How long since you had your last fix?
Who says I use this stuff at all?
Your left arm says so.
How old are you?
You got the record? Look it up.
All right, kid. You sit with it just that way.
You bet I will.
The next time we're here, it'll be to listen. Saturday, February 25th, 1:06 p.m. Frank and I had lunch and went back to the office. Anything for us?
Yeah, call the main jail.
Maybe Roth's ready to talk to us now.
Yeah.
This Friday, juvenile? Yeah? When? Yeah, I see. Right away.
Roth?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to us?
I don't know, they just cut him down.
Huh?
Tried to hang himself. Frank and I left the office and drove over to the police building. The officer had told me over the phone that Roth had torn his trousers into strips and braided them into a rope. He'd attempted to take his own life, but he had been discovered almost immediately. By the time we got there, he was almost fully recovered. We talked to him in the interrogation room.
All right. Name's Pollard Zern.
How do you spell that?
Z-E-R-N-E.
See the top man?
Yeah.
Who gets the stuff into the country?
Zern. He owns a boat. Tells people he's fishing for albacore. I've been with him a couple of times. Lands the boat down on the beach in Mexico. Makes a contact, comes home. Hides the stuff in fish. That way, if anybody searches the boat, chances are they won't find it.
Some setup.
It's worked good for him.
Yeah, so far.
He's made a mint. Got a new car, big house. Can buy anything he wants. Just like he owned his own slot machine. Jackpot every time.
No, not this time.
Huh?
He just turned a lemon.
On July 16th, trial was held in Department 98's Superior Court of the State of California in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. The suspects and other members of the narcotics ring were tried and convicted of violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. Violation of the State Narcotics Act is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 10 years on the first offense. John Colter was made a ward of the juvenile court.